Hell yeah, and welcome to episode 47 of the Temple Bard podcast with me, Jim Wynn, and Philip Noon. Philip, Celebrity Death Watch.
Celebrity Death Watch, Jim. Inspired probably by the very, very sad news last night that Diogo Jota and his brother, Andre Silva, another I didn't know he was a footballer.
Liverpool and Portugal striker.
And his brother Andre Silva played for a team as well in Portugal, I think.
Right.
But really sad, the two boys crashed a Lamborghini last night in northern Spain. And Jota had only got married 2 weeks ago.
So very sad news, and condolences to their families and Liverpool fans and anyone who's really affected. But it got us thinking how it is that celebrity deaths affect us, like people that we don't know, and how we project our own feelings and fears and grief and stuff onto those deaths and what it makes us feel. And it's just an interesting, to me, I was thinking about it today. It's like a celebrity death is something, like it, with all things in life, when it's something that's not very close to us, it's easier to see clearly. I feel like, you know, if you lose someone really close to you, it's very hard to see. You've only got that narrow vision of feeling the loss and the grief. Whereas when someone of a profile that you don't really know, but maybe you feel like you know, passes on, well then you feel the grief, but you just put yourself in an empathic position for their family, and you just kind of imagine. And it shows you that whether you have a Lamborghini, you play for Liverpool, your brother, you just got married, your kids, the whole happy life, we're all going to the same place in the end.
Well, I'll tell you what I found really interesting about it, right? So the origin of the word celebrity comes from the Latin word celebritas, right? Which means it's not a direct correlation of being famous. It's a direct correlation of being admired, hindered, and bothered.
Oh, really?
All at once.
Very good.
So
duality stuff.
So the word celebrity is someone that we want to admire, we want to hinder, and we want to bother. Because if you think about Diogo Jota, right, a very famous player, yet you're only as good as your last game.
Yeah.
If Diogo Jota makes a mistake, we're fucking jumping on him.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, and it's the same with all celebrities, yeah.
And that's it. That's it in all celebrities. And, you know, we love them, we admire them, and we do put them up there. But we are ready to tear them down in any given moment, like, you know.
That's a big thing, especially in the Irish and English culture, I think, even more than in America. They like to build celebrities up to a certain pedestal and then tear them down. And we've seen it, of course, with everybody. From everybody that gets up to a certain point, you draw in people who don't resonate, and then they want to hate against you, and you know. And back when we were younger, there was the tabloids, and I don't know, the tabloids still exist, but I don't think anybody reads them anymore.
No, I think they've kind of shrunk to like TMZ level, you know, like because paparazzis don't make money of fucking celebrities.
No, paparazzis went out with paparazzis in Dunleary. That was a local joke for anybody who gets it. I'm a Man United fan. Liverpool, or Philip is an Arsenal fan, but my whole family are Liverpool fans, so they were all kind of a bit shocked and saddened by it this morning. So it was just an interesting thing, and it's like you said, it's a celebrity is a bit like it's like a projection we can put on the wall, and we can throw all our feelings that aren't processed, that we don't see in our personal relationships. I had a thought the other day that I find it easier to love everybody than to love somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People doing horrible things in the world, I can feel love for them easier than I can sometimes feel for people closest to me.
That makes sense.
Because the people closest to us are the ones who are, that's our main mission in life, I think. The people that we deal with on a day-to-day basis, and how we find the love in the moment there. And so a celebrity is something that we can aspire to, or we can deride, or we can, you know, like you said.
But even the power of celebrity is something really weird now. So his brother's a footballer, right, Andre Silva, and everybody came out today and they were saying rest in peace to Diogo Jota and Andre Silva. But it got me thinking, there were 9 people on the plane, or on the helicopter, with Kobe Bryant.
Right.
Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, and 7 other people. Yet Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna were our focal point for that helicopter crash.
Yeah.
Because Kobe Bryant was the legend. He was the celebrity. He was the one that we put on the pedestal. So when that helicopter crash happened, it was like, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Fucking 9 people on the helicopter.
You could say that too, but also people die in car crash. Like many other people died in a car crash last night.
Yeah, well, that's
you know, and I suppose in a weird way, maybe I don't know if that. Well, like you say, being a celebrity probably has its ups and downs, like everything else in life. So maybe it would help the outpouring of love that people feel from the world. Maybe it feels a bit weird to people, like as well, for strangers to be giving you condolences. I mean, it happens on a level anyway. You know, if someone close to you die, you meet people at the funeral that you don't really know, and they give you your condolences. I suppose a celebrity is just a bigger, a more macro-sized version of that. So it's like, 9 people died on the helicopter, and we only hear in the news about Kobe Bryant and his daughter, but the 7 other people would have had loads of friends and families and funerals and people ringing them, and you know what I mean? It would have been just like a regular person dying.
Have you ever had mad intrusive thoughts at funerals?
I've had, what I've often had in my life is, what's the worst thing I could do or say?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So I've been at funerals and I've been walking up and I've been thinking and it just comes in. It's like, imagine if you did this now.
Yeah.
Or just imagine if you just did yeah. And it's always funerals, even when the priest is sitting there and he's saying something and you're like, what could I do right now?
That's something, remember what I've told you about, I used to always in my life when I had a dark thought or something, I used to always touch wood. That's something I do now, because I think about it, even if I'm holding the baby on the balcony, I think, what if I just fucking dropped him off the side of the balcony, and I used to go, oh, no, fuck, no. But now I realise, that's just a talk going through. I don't have to hold it or do it, and I know I'm not going to throw him off the balcony, so I've got a lot better at it now, or as if there was an eye in the first place.
Jeez, I hope that clip never comes back.
Look at him, Michael Jackson. Hey, blanket.
So, as well as that, right now, and I think I said this. I kind of touched on it a bit with you earlier, right? Footballers have it not harder, but right. Other celebrity deaths, Amy Winehouse, overdoses. These people have outlets that eventually lead to their demise.
Yeah, or crutches, yeah.
Or crutches, yeah. Eventually that will lead to their demise. But footballers, right? If you look at Mikel Antonio for West Ham, he'll never play football again because over a car crash. You have Jose Antonio Reyes that played for Arsenal, died in a very serious car crash at the age of 35. You have Diogo Jota last night, and
Rashford recently, and Ronaldo did it.
Ronaldo crashed his car. Is it because is speed their thing because they can't go out and take drugs, or is it
yeah, maybe I'm sure that's it's probably a bit of an escape for them, or it's it's them perhaps enjoying the fruits of their labor or their fame or whatever. I'm not sure.
You couldn't give Jack Grealish 10 minutes off, like you wouldn't be able to give him 10 minutes away from work. He'd be somewhere.
He'd be somewhere. Sculling points.
I think Jack Grealish is he the last of the Gazas? Is he the last of the Maradonas? Is he?
Well, what I've been thinking about a lot lately is how events echo through history. So you say, football used to be a big drinking culture thing.
Yeah.
And now you just have the odd Jack Grealish or Jamie Vardy or something who they like a pint, but they don't like it like the fucking lads.
Jack Grealish is. I think if we find out everything about Jack Grealish, I think he's as bowled.
Well, the thing is, we don't know everything about him.
You see, nobody's Gaza bowled.
No, but the thing is,
showing up.
But that's what I mean. It's it's not like. Or Paul McGrath. Paul McGrath was playing Premier League games locked and stuff. I don't think Jack Grealish is to that level. I mean, I don't know. I don't follow it. But what I also thought is you told me that your man Reyes died in a similar area in Portugal.
No, so I looked it up today. So the boys died in Spain, did they?
Oh, Spain.
Yeah, Jota died in Spain last night as well. But Reyes was more south. He was down near Seville. I looked it up this morning after I said it to you. I was like, that was probably wrong.
Yeah. But even along those lines, though, footballers in crashes and stuff, or even the Titanic, I told you about your man driving the little submersible, the Titan thing, and how he kind of said a lot of the same things the captains of the Titanic said, and it's just, I feel like sometimes.
Did you say this in the podcast? Did you mention a monkey?
I don't know. There was I don't think I did.
What I mean. No, I think you said to me in a phone call.
I watched a documentary about the Titan, the submarine that went missing famously a few years ago, and the guy, of course, was a mad narcissist, and he wouldn't listen to any of his experts. Anyone who disagreed with him would say no, and he's going down in the submarine, and every time he's going down, he's going pop, 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 pop. The thing is ready to implode on him, and he's still going down deeper like this. Even one pop, I would be gone. But anyway, he there's so many different parallels. He said it was an unsinkable sub. He brought it to the Titanic. They said about the Titanic famously about it. He said it was a marvel He said it was a marvel of ingenuity. But also there was a famous, before they found the Titanic, there was a famous billionaire who was looking. He set up expeditions to look for the Titanic, and he was a very eccentric dude, and he had a monkey called Titan that pointed out on the map where the Titanic was, and nobody, like, they never checked there, but then they went back and checked later on, and I think he was close or something like that. So I just feel like there's all these connections that, like they're like echoes through history. It's like or the same with the Trump, or the Canadian fella who was like a mad Trump kind of
the Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister fella in
Ross, something
yeah,
Ross.
there's a documentary about it on Netflix now. There's a Canadian, he was like Prime Minister or head of the government or something like that. He was a mad, like, just said whatever he wanted and nothing would stick to him. And
he was the mayor of Toronto.
The mayor of Toronto, that's what he was. So nothing would stick to him, and then a few years later, Trump comes along and he's kind of along the same thing. So I feel like there's always like, throughout history, whenever there's been like a huge discovery in technology, like the wheel, it'll happen seemingly randomly in different parts of the world, because I feel like it's like this energy is now entering the illusion, you know what I mean? And so when something huge happens like the Titanic, then you have an echo of it in the future, this Titan, which has loads of similarities in the terms of the names, and there's lots of synchronicities to it, and then it'll be another like little echo of it. I feel like there's a lot of that goes on. And I thought when you said that, I thought that German Reyes had died in a similar way, a player that is kind of in a way another echo of the past, It's like, and the same with good things and bad things that happen, like the school shootings in America and stuff like that. They seem to be, once there was none, and then there was a few, and then there was more, and then there was more. They couldn't seem to, they enter the illusion and it becomes part of the everyday
Celebrity
experience.
car crashes are, you see, because the car is relatively new as an invention, celebrity car crashes are very, very few.
Most famous first one was James Dean, was it?
James Dean, yeah. James Dean would be the first one. And that was just after he'd filmed in a streetcar named Desire. Paul Walker, Ryan Dunn from Jackass. These are all
Princess
car
Diana.
crashes. Princess Diana.
That was a big one.
That was a very big
That was a big one. That was like, we've talked about on here how I remember waking up the morning of 9/11 and watching the news and being on the cycle for the day, and it was the same. It was similar, maybe not as shocking. When Diana died, I remember being the same thing. It was everywhere for a few weeks.
I forgot about Princess Diana there. Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah, so that was a big story as well, and that was a car crash, and also,
and it was a celebrity under pressure.
It was a celebrity under pressure. You could say a lot of people blame the paparazzi for following her and putting her under pressure, or the driver for drinking. A lot of
people blame the royal family.
A lot of people blame the royal family. There's people pointing fingers everywhere, but nobody. The only people that really know aren't really here anymore. So we're all looking at the same thing, and we come up with our own ways of looking at it. So it's like so you look at a story, and whatever fits your own view of the world, you'll make that your truth, and it doesn't matter if it's the truth. There is no truth, as I've said. There's only your view of it, and if we don't know what we really are, how can anything be true? So when it comes to celebrities and stuff like that, I feel like it's an easy. I always think it's like an easy one. Like when we talked about last week with Mark, how I like go in and like or give love hearts to people that leave negative comments. To me, that's an easy. It's an easy to give some love to someone who's throwing hate that I have no connection to, because then I can just see they're angry. I can easily give them love and let it go. But it's like when someone's close to you and they give you hate, like, or when you're having a disagreement with someone in your family or your kids or your partner or something, that's when it's harder to step back and see.
But is that just your ego?
It's all ego. Every interaction we're having with each other as separate beings is ego. So you don't see, like, it's being close to it. It's like I was thinking about it today. The baby was at the church, like he was at the wall and he was banging on the outside wall of the thing. Just look at a brick. So his perspective was this little brick, and that's his perspective. He's banging on it. But if he stepped back, he can see the whole church. He can see the fucking grass behind it. He can see the world behind it.
Okay.
But we're all just at the wall here.
Do you think so?
Yeah, that's what our view of our perspective. We've got infinite views of the same thing, and we're just creating. It's like the elephant thing where I told you, where if you have two people, four blind men around an elephant, and one of them, they're all touching it in different parts, they'll all tell you it's a different thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But you see, so when you say then it's easier to forgive the masses than to forgive one person, or it's easier to love the masses than to love one person.
For me, now, not for everybody. For me.
No, but
there is no objective.
But would you not say that's the same for everybody because it's all out of sight, out of mind?
No, because I can look at because you can look at something like Palestine and Israel and you can make it.
But I look at Palestine and Israel and it doesn't feel real to me.
Yeah, no, it's not. It doesn't feel real because you're not in it. Like, you don't have to deal with it. But a lot of people will just follow that rabbit hole, and that's all they'll watch all day on the thing. There'll be something else for you, like, or online, that you can follow, and it becomes a world event. It takes up a lot of energy, and you're putting either love or hate or some mixture of both usually into it, and then you're projecting that back.
I feel just maybe a bit desensitized to it all, because you see the bombs, you see the rockets, you see the flattened buildings, you see the dead bodies and everything, and it doesn't feel like it's actually happening.
Yeah. Well, because if you're not experiencing it, it's not happening, really. I mean, it's happening. Someone else is experiencing it as happening, but we're not experiencing it happening. We're only experiencing we're only experiencing now at all times. That's all we can ever experience is now.
So then would it not be easier to learn our lesson with the people in front of us instead of...
Yeah, no, well, it would be. And I believe, like, tend to the garden you can touch. If the more harmony you can create in your... But it's different for other people. I'd say there's probably a lot of people who can be very harmonious in their family life, but then go online and do horrific comments or hate on people. Like I'm sure there's no one like people are like this and people are like that. There's always a mixture and levels and spectrum and all this jazz. So I'd say there's probably a mixture of both. But for me and for a lot of people, probably most people, it's the closer you are to the mirror, the harder it is to see the full picture. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
So I think that's often how, and so that's why I feel like tend to the garden you can touch. So it's great to send love or worry about world issues, but if you can find harmony in your own life, learn to love without expectation of love in return. Learn to be of service. Like you say, the law of one will tell you stuff like this. It's like, if you look at like a celebrity, and and us as musicians, we might somehow see that some celebrity or some musician that has a huge hit is somehow more important than us because my song only has 2 people ever listen to it. But the intention behind it could be the same or completely different. It's if all is one, there is nothing better or worse. There's only the intention, and it's as it moves together, and we either create more waves or we create more harmony. And again, it doesn't really matter which we do, but if we want to have a more peaceful life, I believe that we should try and make more harmony. So I feel like doing anything with love as your intention, like making your dinner for your family, making someone a sandwich, waving to someone as you walk past them on the street.
And I'll smile, Jim.
And I'll smile. There's nothing fucking better than seeing someone smiling. Yeah, there's nothing better than seeing someone smiling. And I even go around, even when I'm having a bad day, and I see someone and they go, "How are you?" And I go, "Hell yeah." And we were talking about that last week in Ireland. We go, "Grand."
Grand,
yeah,
grand.
We're ignoring it. But I suppose that's on a deeper level. That's close. That's being closer to the mirror because you're talking to someone you know. But if you're just going past someone, sending a smile, you don't know how much. I remember years ago, I only remember because I did a Facebook post about it. I was having a bad day, and I just seen someone walking with their headphones on, smiling, like just walking, smiling, like not talking anyway. Just something was happening, and it just lit me up inside. Like whatever it was in them. It was contagious, and it lit me up inside, and it sent me on a trajectory to have a good day then after that.
So even if it's harder to smile, just try and smile.
Not even just try, yeah. Not
just
even
try
and
have an old smile.
It's not. Don't even try. Like if you can do, if you can't, don't.
Yeah.
And if when you wish you had and you didn't, don't judge yourself. And when you do, don't think yourself as great either. Like there is no greatness. I've been reading this book lately called Nevermind, which was very good for me anyway. Again, it's always only my perspective of it. And it's about a non-duality book, so it's about kind of Hindu, Buddhism and all this. It doesn't really go into the actual religions or the belief systems, but to me it's very like the guy explains everything in the kind of very similar to what my inner thought process would be. So I thought it was very good. So if you wanted to read a book that I find similar to my own thoughts at the minute, it's called Nevermind. I can't remember the fellow's name who wrote it, but it's very good.
I've been listening to a lot of Jordan Peterson at the minute, just because I know a lot of people don't agree with Jordan Peterson. But what he's kind of teaching me is to get out of my head more and get out of my way more. I find I'm in my way a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are, I think a lot of people are in their own way, having that thought of maybe this might not work or maybe this, and just...
Why try?
Why try?
If it could fail, why try?
If it could fail. And I was in that, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it, like.
Yeah.
If you don't like me, fine.
Yeah.
You're going to die too.
We're all Jordan Peterson is like Joe Gorjada. Nobody actually knows him. They just have an opinion based on their own set of biases and beliefs. There's some people who think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Some people who'd never listened to him but have already judged
I've never had much of an opinion on him.
I find him quite interesting to listen to. He's into a lot of Nietzsche and stuff like that, which I think Nietzsche is a great...
Ein Supermensch.
He's a great kind of bridge between spirituality and psychology. Not that there is a difference in reality, that it's all the same thing, but I find that Nietzsche is like a good bridge, and I find Peterson's like that a lot. I find a lot of his stuff's interesting. I find a lot of the times he's kind of a bit, what's the word? Incendiary for the sake of it.
Did you ever hear about how Friedrich Nietzsche died?
No.
He went out and he assaulted a man's horse. There was a man on the street and he went out and he whipped your man's horse. And the horse and your man bet him to death.
Yeah. How did he feel about his mother, though?
His famous one is "God is dead."
Yeah?
That was his famous quote, "God is dead."
Well, I think that's kind of the paradigm we've been living in for the last while. Since the scientific materialism has kind of gone an atheistic approach. But in this book, like it doesn't talk about, it's not about being like the kindest or gentlest. It's about being authentic to your own vibration. Like, so that includes being violent or being aggressive, but not just seeing that it's coming through you and that it is as it's supposed to be. And a very good story that was in it was the fella, his guru, who he learnt all this stuff from, was giving a talk in Germany, and he was explaining how I'm not going to go into the big details of it, but how everything. There's no point in following anything down or feeling guilt or anything like that. Everything is happening as it's supposed to be. So a fella got up and he said that he was a German soldier in World War II, and when they were in Croatia or somewhere, and a load of partisans came and killed all his best friends in an ambush, and he went into the village then and killed loads of women and children. He said he's never been able to forgive himself. He didn't know that he had that in him. He could never consciously say, "I'm going to go out and do this," but he did it. And he said that this enabled him to forgive himself. Now that he could still, and everything is as it's supposed to be. So that was meant to happen as it's supposed to be. Now he could go on to be in jail or be murdered for what he did, and that would be as it's supposed to be. But being able to forgive yourself, seeing the oneness of things and having that experience and that acceptance allows you to see that everything as it's supposed to be is as it's supposed to be, and it allows you to forgive and accept yourself. Doesn't mean you have to let...
Fuck Jim, I don't know if I could forgive myself for that now, to be fair.
No, well,
that's tight going,
because
Jim.
you think you're yourself. That's why.
Yeah, Jim,
and you think that they're different.
I couldn't go into a village and kill a load of women and children and go back and forgive
They killed
myself.
all your best friends a minute ago, and he said all his best friends were supposed to die as well. The war was supposed to start. This is like, you can bring this back for as long as you want. You can
I know, but that's still tight going. Like,
it's tight going. It doesn't. It sounds to the ego like, oh no,
I'm not disagreeing with you.
No, I know. Yeah, it sounds. But it's the same as me.
It's just tight.
It's the same when I did it.
It's just a tight example.
But it's just what happens is it brings up your biases in your ego, and your ego attaches to it. We had a comment from a listener on one of the YouTube things there that said I was defending Israel there last week, when I was talking about seeing that the Israelis are hurting people, and how I see it as just an escalation of karma and tit for tat and stuff like that. So my view wasn't to defend anybody or deride anybody, just to see everybody as humans, and that if they didn't love, they couldn't hate so much. That was my whole view. But somebody, I think it was Teresa, definitely a listener that we have, was saying that how can I defend Israel, and that there's no love, it's just greed. And I would say that greed is love. Greed is the search for love. You know what I mean? So that she can only see it from her perspective, which isn't wrong either. Like, she's just seen it. She was triggered that she's seen the things that Israel have done, and then she can't see past that, as she can't see any deeper than that. And there's loads of things in my life that I'd be the same with, and everybody has these blind spots, these places where we're so close to the mirror that we can't see. So it's just a matter of, and it is in these difficult kind of analogies, like this German soldier who killed women and children and had his best friends killed by terrorists or whatever.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I understand everything you've just said to me. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is, if they killed my best friends and I went with my gun and tried to kill all them and died trying to kill them, that's fine. But going in and killing a load of women and children in revenge for somebody else doing something.
Mm. Well, he said,
which is similar,
village,
maybe to what Israel are doing, but like...
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You're taken over by the emotion. Like, I don't think everyone thinks that they're doing the right thing at the time. You know, if you get into a desperate situation where you've lashed out, and at this particular stage you have this power over innocent people, as it seems, but it's all as it's supposed to be, and it's very hard for the ego to grasp that. You can't grasp it from a point of when there's good and bad. To me, I look at everything as frequency.
Or you could be wrong.
Or I could. Yeah. Well, I'm just giving. This isn't it. Like this is a concept.
But that's what I mean. It's a concept. It's all a concept.
It's all a concept. Any time you explain anything to anybody, like any non-duality or any person will tell you, everything is a signpost towards it. Nothing is it, because it doesn't exist. It doesn't have a form and exist or a name, or it doesn't have a.
However, that's what it is in your belief system.
What it is in my belief system is when you've seen this or had the experience or the memory of this oneness, then you can forgive and accept things that your ego would not let you do.
Of course.
So that's what I feel like this fella got from it. Like it's not about having other people forgive you. It's just being able to accept yourself, and that's a big part of, I think, us shaking off the ego as we evolve.
It's easier said than done sometimes.
It's always easier said than done. Yeah, always. We had a lot of Irish celebrities die last year that brought out and we're living in a place now where a lot of people are worried about the death of the Irish culture and stuff like that. And then we had a few last year, like Sinead O'Connor and Christy Dignam and someone else as well, wasn't there?
Shane MacGowan,
yeah. So it becomes like a lot of people might see this as part of the Irish culture dying. I would see it all as part of the Irish culture transforming into the next thing. That's the way I look at it. But it's every person has to look at it the way they want to. That those three were very close together, were they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and they were all very similar characters.
Very similar characters, kind of the old school, kind of somewhere between the Furies and Bono. You know, like they were kind of like somewhere in between rock and traditional music.
Dolores O'Riordan only died in the last 10 years as well. She'd be something similar.
Yeah.
Again, Sinead and Dolores, but you could say Shane MacGowan as well, really struggled.
Yeah.
Were really tortured souls. The three of them were really tortured souls. Christy Dignam maybe too, actually.
Yeah, well, he wasn't Christy on heroin for a while.
Christy was on heroin. Like, you know,
it's a fairly common thing in celebrities that they're tortured souls. That's why a lot of us, like, we find it hard to believe that when celebrities have problems. But I mean, if you have everybody knowing your business and everybody thinking they're knowing you, I can't think of many things that would be more destabilizing.
Like Barry Keoghan, I read something that he was in treatment recently as well. Like, I don't think we deal with fame well as Irish people. Colin Farrell was a fucking lunatic as well.
Yeah, especially Irish people, we have like the notions thing as well. Like I don't think we put people on a pedestal. We allow people to go on the pedestal for a while. Garen Noon actually has gone off the...
Actually, do you know something? Yeah. I was going to say this to you earlier. I think he could be the perfect example of an Irish person trying to deal with a lot at the moment. Like because he's a great fella. He really is. And he said whatever he said maybe a while back about immigration. And I think that kind of was the first nail in whatever was going to be built for him. Do you know, it wasn't a coffin. It was the first nail in whatever was happening.
It was the first time he probably got a big wave of negativity.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, if he had a less of an sensitive ego or sensitive place, he'd probably be able to brush that off. Like, you know, I
wouldn't say it's his ego.
It is your ego. Like, it is. No, it is. Anything that you're saying, like, anything that's mentally, physically, like, it is your ego. Like, you're thinking of ego as like a pride thing. I'm thinking of ego.
No. What I'm saying is, so he suffered with agoraphobia.
Yeah.
So that's like your mental health is not your ego.
Of course it is.
Okay.
Yeah, your mental health's your ego. Like your physical health and all sorts. Anything that separates you from, makes you feel like you're separate from others is your ego. So it's like, if we all have egos and we all have various things and they all have different trigger points, different things, different strengths and weaknesses. So it's all ego, I would say. But I would say that, like, for some people, like, would have got that bit of hate and would have been able to roll with it. Some people's ego would have got it and would have attacked it back, and Garen kind of took it and maybe internalised it a bit, and he went on for a bit more, and then
Well, it all depends on your psychological build-up before it, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Some people can take more than others, and I don't know, because we can't say because we've never dealt with it on that scale.
Yeah, and we don't know, Garen.
We don't know, Garen, and we don't know what it is to have an inbox every day of just messages popping up, and we don't know how positive or negative they were. I don't know how I deal with it. Like if my phone was binging and it was like people like constant hate, even for a couple of days. I know we shut down the page for like initially. But I don't think I'd be strong enough for that over time. Just that
and
constant
whereas other
hate.
people would just turn off the notifications, turn off the comments, and just leave it and just continue going the way they were. And so it's and again, what you will say you do is you projecting it onto what you're just projecting your own what you think as well. And I'm projecting what I think, and everybody's projecting what they think. And I think Garen is obviously a more sensitive soul, and he did have these problems with agoraphobia, and it really is like a huge duality shift almost from not being able to leave the house to being like the most recognised person in the country and finding the balance in there.
So fast.
So fast, yeah.
So fast, like from COVID to now. Probably one of the most recognised faces in Ireland.
Yeah, and also he's huge, tall fella, big fella, and recognisable anyway. It's not like he's like Michael Jackson where he can wear a disguise or something like that.
And I suppose to go from, because he could do no wrong. So to go from being so loved.
Yeah.
And then look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's nothing to do with this. Maybe he just said, fuck it, I just don't want to do it anymore. But then when he cancelled all his live shows, I was like, this is something probably a bit bigger.
Yeah. So what it is definitely, it's not, I don't think, like, whether he's getting negative comments or something, I don't think that's well, of course, nothing is it. It's all the same thing, but he's internalized it somehow where he's created a world where he's now living in a place where he feels he has to go back into maybe a bit of seclusion or something, which I think can be a great thing for you. So we wish him all the best anyway.
Jesus, yeah.
Is all we can say. And he was a breath of fresh air and a bit of light-hearted and a beautiful example of Irish humour. Taking the piss out of yourself, others, and doing it in a loving way. And I think that was what he was very good at. And we wish him well in his struggles, but his rise to fame and his struggles are all part of his journey, and I believe that it's for his and our benefit in the big picture, like everything else.
We have the dualities collapsing this week, and we can merge Diddy or Didn't he and Boldness of the Week.
Oh, can we?
Yeah.
Nice.
So Sean P. Diddy Combs yesterday.
Right.
Drink. Sean P. Diddy Combs yesterday was found not guilty of racketeering, not guilty of sex trafficking, but guilty of prostitution, which could have him in jail up to 10 years.
So, didn't he?
Didn't he?
Didn't he most of it? Did he the rest of it?
He was, he was bold.
Yeah.
Although, do you know something? If Sean Diddy Combs had been found guilty, would he have been the next celebrity death?
Yeah. And what would that have brought out in people? Would anyone believe how he died if he did die? And also,
Jeffrey Epstein was in a cell by himself with a camera on suicide watch.
Did you see the AI videos on the back of the motorbike? No. Diddy and Jeff Epstein on the motorbike.
But Jeffrey Epstein, right? So you have a man who had his own private island. Allegedly, Bill Clinton. Allegedly, Donald Trump. Allegedly, all these really powerful men. Allegedly, were landed on this island. There was some underage Prince. What's his name? Andrew. The man that can't sweat. He was on the island, all these people. Jeffrey Epstein has all this information. He's in a cell by himself. He's on suicide watch. There's a camera on him in the cell. The guards go missing for 10 minutes. The camera breaks. Jeffrey Epstein's found hanging dead in his cell.
Yeah.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
No.
But fuck off.
Yeah. Well, it happened as it's supposed to happen, and so that's what I mean when I say when you try and look at things from a more broader view. I looked at that one and I went down and beeped in the rabbit hole on that one, like about it's impossible, they're covering up something and all, and I go blah blah blah. But what I look at it now is from what is like that was supposed to happen the way it did, and supposed to bring up all the conspiracy theories, whether it's true or not. It was supposed to even all the disagreements or wonderings or these are all things. These are all vibrations or things that were meant to be dealt with by the world as a whole. So it's like it's so easy to get brought into this is what happened and that's what happened. But when I look at things, and it's much harder to do this, I look at things like as waves, as like vibration waves that are bouncing with each other, and they either make big waves in chaos, or else they are smooth. So stuff like Epstein or conspiracies or pharmaceutical companies or Donald Trump or fucking wars, I find it easier to, in my own head, just to send love to everybody and not follow it down as like not making the form the reality. Whereas in day-to-day life with people who are close to me, I always get lost in the form. I always get lost in it. This, you said that, you think this, you think that, you think this, I think this, I think like. But whereas if it's a world event, I can just see it as frequency on the spectrum bouncing around. But it's when it's closer to me, when I'm so close to the mirror that I can't see that it's a reflection, that's when it's more difficult.
See, I don't know if it's like when it's close to me, I don't mind it. But I think that could be like a I don't know, like a personality disorder or something.
No, because I know what you mean, because I feel like that as well. Like I don't react usually apart from there's a few people who can get a reaction out of me. Like,
I get a reaction out of you from time to time.
Sometimes,
but that's just because I'm an annoying cunt. Like, you'd be like, Philip, will you do this? Be like, yeah, I'm going to do that gym right now.
But again, that's quite an easy one for me, because I might see like, fuck's sake, he's not going to do it, and I look at I can observe that thought without having it. The thing is when is the piece, and when you're able to look at the thought and not have the thought, that's where I can have thoughts about Israel and Palestine, where I can look at the thought and not follow it as I am this thought or I believe this. And it's the same with you, but where people were closer to me, like with your missus or your kids or something, sometimes I get lost. I follow the thought and I'm already having the conversations in my head. They're thinking this. Whereas if it's you, like if you don't do something for the podcast, right? Like I might see the thought and I go, "Fucking, here we go. You're never going to do that." But then I go, but I find it very easy then to just go. But that's the way he is. That's Philip. Like I can accept him the way he is. So like you're actually as people who are close to me, you're quite an easy one for me.
That's all right. That's all right.
So thank you for that. Thank you for your lessons in love, Philip.
So, folks, if anybody was listening last week, we had Mark on, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do right now. If you're listening to us on Spotify, there's a little bell there, okay? So if you're not following the podcast, follow the podcast, but there's a little bell on Spotify. Will you please hit that little bell and give us an old 5-star review if you want. If you don't want it, that's okay. But that little bell will give you notifications whenever a new podcast pops up. So it's easier for us to get into the algorithm and things like that.
Right.
We had Mark on last week, and his story was incredible. And
we've had a lot of reaction this week.
We did. It's
even more than the porn one.
I know.
Not as many views yet, but it's headed that way. But I'd say more interaction. Than
definitely. Yeah. It's the 2 episodes were definitely up there. Mark was incredible, and thanks again to Mark for coming on. And his story was shocking, uplifting, positive and negative.
Yeah. And he's very good a communicator.
He was brilliant. He was brilliant.
We've been saying that all week. Like Mark's a very good communicator, and you could listen to him talk about it, and he's very honest and open, and
a very good speaker. Yeah. So that's there last week. It's an episode called Mark's Recovery. Just if you're maybe listening to this one for the first time, maybe go back and have a listen to that. Other episodes, if you want to go back and have a listen, there's an episode called Ride On with Andy Lee and the Irish Bull. You should go back and listen to that one. Yeah. And probably the Celtic Tiger episode.
That's one of our favourites.
Or our death episode.
And that's on there. And most of the episodes are on YouTube now as well.
Yes, a lot of them are in video now. So it's great that everybody's coming back week after week. Thanks a million.
We appreciate it. We're glad you get something from it.
It's grown at a rate we didn't think we were. It's
exactly as it's meant to be.
It's exactly as it's meant to be. It's doing a. We're not at the level where if one of us dies, we're going to be in any newspapers or anything like. So
we were coming up here to do the podcast today, and there was a few ropey people on the road, and we were thinking like,
if we died in a car crash today,
we'd be back down to page.
Nobody's even
page 150. Yeah.
No, everybody's going to be. Diogo Jota and his brother died in a car crash today. 2 other lads.
But maybe somebody who listens to the podcast would go, "Oh, I like that Phil lad, or I like that Jim lad," and I'm sad for their family. I'm sad for his kids. I'm sad for his mom. Like, that's even people.
Some internet troll will go, ha ha ha.
Yeah, dying's gay. Car crashes are gay. But and God loved them as well, because they deserve as much love as everybody else. In fact, they can't be separated from it. That's what they are made out of.
Folks, overall, we're going to send our love to the Jotas.
Yeah, to the Jotas, to Liverpool fans, anybody who's been affected with loss, or the sense of loss, the sense of grief. It's not easy. It seems like it not pass. It may be something that you carry with you your whole life, but it will end, and we're all headed to the same place at the end of the day. And I think that is, it can be a scary thing as well. I find it quite comforting myself. that we're all bound to find out what this was all for eventually. So that's it for episode 47 of the Temple Bard podcast. Let us know what you think of this episode, other episodes. Reach out with us on the socials. Follow us on all the things. Leave the 5-star reviews. We love you. Stay bowled. Sláinte.